fish. We the ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's, rung a couple bells. Real ones, to the gym for point tell. Straight shooters, all troopers. Me and the guys ain't never been losers. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. See a nice little, yeah, I'm moving for the purpose, bigger than a service. You can never, even if you rehearse this, we own it, yeah, hurts it. Big difference, that's worthless, yes. All we do is impress, put the work in, never mind all the stress. And you don't mind tests when you better than the rest. OG 101, it was all in the prep. Yeah, we some legends in the game. If you're scared to embrace it, then how you gonna change? Yeah, everyone wanna range, but the value that you bring, little boy, smart change. I'm just saying. With your mind frame, you go hard from the gate. Every day, clean slate, and patience is a privilege. I ain't got so I win. OG, big fish. We the ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's, rung a couple bells. Real ones, too legit for cointel. Straight shooters, all troopers. Me and the guys ain't never been losers. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. Yeah. OG, big fish. OG, big fish. OG, big fish. Good evening. Big fish. OG, big fish. OG, big fish. Good evening. Is it too light in here? Welcome. Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. We got a busy show for y'all tonight. Let's get the vibe going in the back. Man. Hopefully everybody's week's going well. Man, a lot going on this week. So my apologies. My energy's a little off, but we're here. Happy to be here. Good to be here. And we got a lot to cover. Today. So we're going to cover everything from some more responses. We got some more responses from Kamala Harris losing. And in my opinion, it's a telltale of like the Democrats are just crashing. The liberals are for sure crashing, but the entire Democratic Party, in my opinion, is just in crash mode. We're seeing it in so many different ways. You learn a lot from how people respond to defeat. And maybe this was what was needed. It seems like this was needed. It seems like the party was getting stretched in so many different directions. And it was all based on just a common hatred of Donald Trump. So therefore, everything else was thrown out the window. So then when they lost, it seems like now everything is just destructing. Like we're seeing the building crumble because there was no foundation. Well, that's at least what it seems like to me. We're going to look at a video from Joy Reid. We got some videos from Morning Joe. We got a cool study that New Emerging King, young leader down in Georgia, doing some amazing things. Cool study that we want to check out with him. Got a couple questions about Trump. I got a question for y'all about Trump, especially for the people that did not support him. We got a video from Plaz that I want to ask y'all about, and then we're going to kind of gear off and talk a little bit about relationships and then bring it right back to the politics. What apparently some people are asking Joe Biden to step down. The DEI just doesn't stop. My man Joe Biden gifts us, right? All black people. He done gifted us Kamala Harris. And now y'all want this man to step out of his job and let Kamala be the president. A lot going on here. But then we got a cool video of this student, young man. He looks like he's going to be a solid contributor to society. You can already tell at a young age, but he's interesting conversation that he's having in a classroom where he's the only person in there that is supporting Trump, or at least objective to the politics of everything. And then we have, what else do we have? I got a couple questions about y'all, because this dude, matter of fact, I don't even know if I had that video. Whatever. We'll probably won't even get to half of this stuff, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Hi, Dr. Charlene. Good evening. Glad that you are here. Hopefully you'll be with us the entire show. We have a lot to get through, but we are excited to address everything. And I guess what will we start off with? I always say that, acting like I don't have an entire schedule on here, but sometimes we like to switch it up. So let's start off with the mayor of Baltimore. So the mayor of Baltimore, he responded or gave a speech in response to Donald Trump winning. And I believe it's a telltale or a microcosm or whatever you want to call it. But I think it represents a lot of not only people's views, but I think it also represents a lot of problems that we have in our community, a lot of problems that we have in society. And this is a problem, in my opinion, that a lot of the Democrats and a lot of especially the liberals have created. And this problem specifically, I think that the Black community has created. And there's so many different videos that I wanted to show y'all. There was Pastor Jamal Bryant. Everybody is losing their ish when it comes to Donald Trump being elected president. And to me, it just makes people look very weak. It makes people look very weak. And it's just very telling of who, people's true character, of what their true character is. So let's start off with, let me make sure that I got it queued up. Let's start off with this video from the mayor of Baltimore. And I want to say so much, but let's just hear the video. Let's just hear the video. Let me shut up and let's hear the video.
Obviously extremely disappointed in the.
Hold on one second.
I'm obviously extremely disappointed in the results, but it is clear that there will be a second Trump presidency. It is really on my heart this morning to say that as a man, but more importantly as a Black man, that this country does not.
Why does everything have to be more importantly as a Black man? Like, why does it always have to be that? Like, why do we put ourselves in these corners? Why do we compartmentalize ourselves? Like, he didn't say more importantly as an honorable man, more important as a man with high morals, a man with high principles. Why is everything more importantly as a Black man? Why is that more important than the things that I just listed? We don't even understand sometimes the things that we say because we just repeat what we hear other people saying. No, it's not more important as a Black man. You're just born Black. You don't choose being Black, but you actually choose the principles that you live by, the morals that you live by, the values that you live by. You choose all those things. So why is it more important to identify with the one thing in the world that you do not choose? The two things, I should say, Black and a man. It's just more importantly as somebody with values. More importantly, with somebody who was taught certain principles. More importantly than a person with integrity. But everything is more importantly as a Black man. It's just like the thing to say. It's just what people say. It's just what people say, and he's just somebody else that's continuing to say the very same talking points that everybody else says because it sounds cool when we say it. It makes no sense. Why is it more importantly as a Black man?
Deserve Black women or Black people, but specifically Black women.
Hold on.
This morning
hold on, and I'm gonna try not to interrupt because I'm gonna play it again because I can't control. It's not letting me skip ahead or anything like that. So let me play the video back because I want y'all to hear what he just said. He just said that the country does not deserve Black women, that America does not deserve Black women. Please, let's hear this.
I am obviously extremely disappointed in the.
And very quickly, white liberals and white women, y'all are responsible for this. No, I can't even say y'all are responsible for this. Black men, first and foremost, are responsible for this. Black men, first and foremost, are responsible for this. And then men overall. Yeah, I'm saying Black men specifically because this is something, in my opinion, that was created in the Black community. When you look at the root of the problem, this all goes back to, in my opinion, Black men not being in the household. Yeah, I don't want to explain how I'm connecting the dots right now for all the new people that, may not be familiar with the show. You may not understand exactly how I'm connecting the dots, but for the people that watch the show all the time, you understand. But just for the sake of getting through this video, Black men, you've allowed this. You've condoned this. Men, especially the liberals, you've condoned it. But I can't blame conservative men. I'm going to be totally honest. when it comes to white women, we're gonna play this video of Joy Reid later after this one. Y'all have allowed black women to bully y'all, to convince y'all that unless you agree with them, that you're racist, you're a bigot, all these other things. This is what. And you know what? I'm over here. Let me not do what I'm accusing other people of doing. And what I mean by that is, this is a black man talking. And when I'm talking, addressing the white women, I wanted to, in my head, I'm thinking about the Joy Reid video that I'm getting ready to play out. But black women have become a group of people that everybody panders to, that can do no wrong. And we see it come up in so many different ways. So let me hold off on addressing what I was going to say regarding white women and maybe other women as well. Let me hold off on that. Let's try to get through this video. I'm going to try to just let the video play. I'm going to try.
The results, but it is clear that there will be a second Trump presidency. It is really on my heart this morning to say that.
And I got to stop it because this is what pisses me off. And I told y'all, I'm in a little bit of a weird mood right now, just because a lot of stuff going on. Queez just wrote, in Baltimore City public schools, 29% of high school students tested at or above the proficient level for reading and 10% tested at or above the level for math. We don't need you talking about Trump. You over here talking about calling the country out, and your kids in your own city can't even read, can't do math. What do you think is going to happen with kids that grow up in Baltimore that can't read and can't do math, that don't excel in the classroom? What do you think is going to happen? But instead, he feels that he should be in hiding. He should be in hiding. And I believe he was the mayor before he got reelected. He should be in hiding. This is the problem. This is the problem with DEI. This is the problem with affirmative action. You get people in these positions and they're not held accountable. They're just in the position because of slavery, because we're owed this. This is reparations. This is DEI. People are in positions that they're not qualified for. That is why I hope. That is one of the things that I read in Project 2025 that I actually hope that Trump and his team do. I hope they do dismantle the Board of Education. And I hope they also dismantle a lot of these bureaucrats, these people that are elected in offices that are not held to any standard. They're not held accountable. They're just given bonuses every year. There's nothing performance based about these people. How are you how do you get reelected when nobody can read and do math in your city? Let's keep going. I'm sorry. I'm just very frustrated with all this. It is embarrassing what's going on. It is embarrassing.
As a man, but more importantly, as a black man, that this country does not deserve black women or black people, but specifically black women. This morning I woke up and I just gave my wife a hug, because I know how heavy this is weighing on black women. And they have carried this country and saved this country too many times and continue to be the most disrespected human beings on the planet. And it, quite frankly, it disgusts me.
Who is portraying these lies? What are you talking about? You're the most disrespect. What are you talking about? Joy Reid can get on TV and say and do anything she wants. Black women get the most amount of passes now than maybe any other group. What are you talking about? People just love being victims so much because it gives them excuses to do and behave however they want to. They keep pushing this narrative. It's not true. It's not true.
I'm thinking about the world that we're going to bring our daughter into.
See, I don't need to read off of a piece of paper. I don't need to read off a piece of paper and talk about certain things. The things that I talk to y'all about, I don't have a script. I do this show all the time without a script because it's actually how I feel. Here you got these people in political positions. They got to read off a script just to tell you how they feel. Stop trying to recite these same talking points. Black women are the most disrespected. Stop saying that. Where are the stats? Where does this come from? The least protected? Okay. Get a man. Become a wife. If you really want to increase your protection, if you want to increase the protection not only of you, but of your kids, have a man in the house. Put yourself in a position to where where a man wants to make you a wife. But instead, you got these pandering dudes, these simps that will just tell you. You know why I'm upset right now? You know why I'm upset? Because I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Probably the most, besides my mother, the greatest woman that I know is not doing well. She doesn't have a husband. My aunt. And it's not a good life that you live when you do not have your significant other. You're by yourself. You're not protected. Your other family that's supposed to be your family, they got to live their lives, so they're not able to tend to you and even pay attention to you the way that we would hope that we can. And you have people that are continuing to push Black women to become the type of women that nobody is going to want. These men are telling y'all one thing that it's despicable what these men are doing. It's despicable what these men are doing. We all have to change who we are, mold ourselves, figure out how we can become the best version of ourselves, so that way compromise. Yes, we have to compromise as well. We can't just have people telling us that we're perfect. Black women are perfect. Black women can do no wrong. How can you be in a relationship with somebody who believes that they can do no wrong? We're getting ready. We may not have seen. See, this is the thing. This whole single, I could do all bad by myself, and women's empowerment and all this feminist stuff and the CEOs and all that stuff. It sounds great in your 30s. It sounds maybe great in your 40s. Maybe you can live with it in your 50s when you can still go out with your girls. But when you reach your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, hopefully, it's not that cool. We need to be with each other. There needs to be certain things that are compromised on the men's side, certain things that are compromised on the women's side. But when you have men like this who try to convince Black women that they can do no wrong and that they're perfect beings, it fucks them up in the head.
In a few months. And I want the vice president to know that her and her team did everything right in the right way. But the unfortunate reality.
Her and her team did everything right in the right way. Yo. I'm looking at with the comments. There's people that I know on here that are hearting this thing, writing comments, and I'm just sitting here like, what? He says all this stuff, and because it appeals to the emotions of Black women love it, but they don't even realize that this is detrimental to them. This man, can you imagine coaching a player? Can you imagine you're coaching a player? You're trying to make that player become the best player that they can be. You're trying to make that player become the best teammate that they can be. But then you got their parents and you got these other coaches telling them, you're perfect. You are perfect just the way you are. How can that player then accept constructive criticism that is needed for them to grow, for them to become a better teammate, for them to become a better player? How can they accept criticism when everybody else is telling them that they're perfect? So then when somebody does call them out on their behavior, now they feel they're being attacked. This is what's happening with black women. But if I post what I just said on Instagram, it'll be 0 likes, a bunch of hate, a bunch of unfollows. But you get these clowns coming up here saying just whatever they can say because they don't have the courage. This is the only way that they've ever been able to get girls, probably. This is the only way that they've ever been able to appeal to the opposite sex. By saying whatever it is that the black woman wants to hear. That's what they're going to say.
Reality is that this country is still steeped in racism, sexism, and misogyny.
Let me ask y'all a question. What does it take? What will it take for us to stop talking about racism? What will it take? What do black people? Let me ask all the black people. What do white people need to do for us to stop talking about racism every single time something doesn't go our way? Kamala Harris lost. It's racism. Barack won. That's just the right thing. Finally, the country did the right thing. Come on, man. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. This is destroying us. This is destroying black communities, and it's really destroying it. This is why American culture is what it is today. And this is why Donald Trump is as popular as he is today. Because of messages like this.
Personally proud of her. And I know that so many others are the same. We appreciate her tenacity, her focus, her decency, and how she handled herself throughout this campaign. And I don't want to hear anybody saying that they should have done something different.
I don't want to hear anybody saying that they should have done something different. These are the people that are running our states, that are running our cities. And this is probably the same energy. This is why Baltimore City kids can't read. This is why they can't write. This is why they can't do math. This is why. Because I don't want to hear anybody saying that they did anything wrong. What do you mean you lost? You lost. There was nothing that you could have done better? Nothing that you could have improved upon? Nothing at all? You lost. You lost for a reason. See, this is what happens when you got DEI and people getting rewarded for things that they didn't earn, that they feel entitled to. This is participation trophy mentality. You didn't do anything wrong, son. Oh, you didn't make the team? Oh, you guys lost? It's not your fault. You did everything right. You did everything perfect. Could you imagine telling kids this? Why are we pushing this messaging? Why?
She should have been running longer. The fact is that
she should have been running longer. This man is delusional. If Kamala Harris, don't they realize does he think that we're stupid? If she was running longer, this would have been even a bigger landslide. Their entire strategy was to try to stay out the way as long as possible and do as least as possible so we won't have as much exposure. And now he's saying the opposite. These people are delusional. This is why all these Democratic ran cities, the kids can't read. The kids can't do math, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Philly, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's DC, whether it's cities in Louisiana. This is why, this mentality. There's no accountability with anything.
Did everything that a campaign can do and more.
She did everything that a campaign can do and more. Same talking point that Kamala was saying. I left it all out on the field. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Let me be very clear. These people just say stuff that they think people want to hear. I've never been in a game where I came out of a game saying that I left it everything, that I couldn't have done anything better. Are you kidding me? The arrogance amongst these people, this is why they lost. They are delusional, they are out of touch, and there's no accountability for anything that they do wrong. And every time something does not go their way, they always blame something externally rather than look internally at the things that they could have improved upon.
We as a country really have a lot of soul searching to do. And that's really what I want to say about that today.
We as a country have a lot of soul searching to do. Well, brother, maybe if y'all weren't pushing messages like allowing kids to get gender affirming surgeries without their parents condoning it, maybe if you didn't push having boys in girls sports, maybe if you could actually identify what a woman is. You got Democrats running around here. What Ketanji? What's the lady that Supreme Court? My apologies. I'm not trying to mess up your name on purpose, but I just don't know. I forget. Or Ketanji Jackson or something. I forget. She couldn't even tell us what a woman was. But she could be a judge in the Supreme Court. This is the culture that has been created. This is what happens when you have weak punk men that are in your culture. This is what happens. It destroys things. All you have to do is look at the cultures that have matriarchs. Do you think they're doing better than the ones that are patriarchs? Oh, I'm being sexist. Okay. Me looking at stats, observing stats, and then drawing a conclusion from the stats, that's being sexist. Got you.
But I want black women to hear from me to know that as a black man, I am going to triple my efforts to lift them up, to make sure that they're supported, to make sure that they're seen.
As a black man, I'm going to triple my efforts to lift them up, to support their efforts, to make sure that they're seen. How about you just do your damn job and you make sure that you're implementing plans so your kids can read in your city? How about you worry about your own city instead of worrying about black women? How about you worry about the actual role that you're supposed to play as a mayor and uplift the city? Not uplift them with emotions, not uplift them with a passionate speech that makes them feel good. How about you actually uplift them with results, things that are going to impact them for generations to come, instead of having them embrace being victims?
And to make sure that other folks are challenged into understanding that they alone can't be the soul of this democracy, and that they alone can't save us from ourselves time.
Oh, man. This is bad. It's bad, but it's good. It's bad, but it's good. You want to know why? Because people are seeing through this. That's what this election showed us. People are seeing through this. How can you respect anything that this man has said? We're talking about a woman that's the vice president. She doesn't need you patting her on the head and saying, "You did a good job, boy, girl. You did a good job." This is not your 6-year-old playing soccer for the first time and having a bad game, and you feel like this is not that. You want to be treated like you're the vice president and can be president, but then on the other hand, you're going to get babied by men like this. She's in a higher position than you. So why are you coddling her like this?
And time again, they alone can't be the people that show up and show up in such a way that folks who are voting against their own best interest, that they are saved as well.
Who are you to tell me what's in my best interest? This is the arrogance. This is what we're seeing. You hear the Democratic messaging after the election, and they keep saying that people are voting against their interest. Black men are voting against their interest. Latinos are voting against their interest. White women are voting against their interest. People that make $50,000 or less are voting against their interest. That's your interest, not their interest. They voted for the things that are important to them, just like you voted for the things I assume that are important to you. Oh, you think you're smarter than them. That's what you're trying to say. They don't know what's best for them. You know what's best for them. You can't even get your kids in your city reading. The kids in your city can't read. That's a fast track to prison or dead or whatever else doing something illegal.
They can't do it anymore. And we have to be there to understand that reality and lift them up. I don't know everything that a second Trump presidency will bring to Baltimore. But if he follows through on some of his dark, violent promises, we know that we are looking at challenges.
His dark and violent promises. What are you talking about? What Trump dark and violent promises? Why? And I'm glad that he's saying this. I'm glad that he's saying this because you know what? This morning I got a message. I got a text message from somebody that I was not necessarily surprised to get, but it just made me happy. Not happy for me, not happy in a I told you so way, not happy at all that, just happy for this person. Happy for this person because I do feel that, look, we all base the things that we see based on our own experiences. So that's why we have to give grace to everybody when we can't expect everybody to see things the same time that we see things. We can't expect everybody to, oh, as soon as I'm not messing with religion no more, so you shouldn't either at the same time. People see it differently based on their own experience. But I was happy for this person who sent me a text saying that the liberal Democrats have lost their mind. I was happy. I was truly just happy because I think based on them seeing how the Democrats have responded to this loss, they are realizing like, damn, this party is crazy. The only thing that I actually agreed with the rest of the people in this party on was our hatred for Trump. That's it. Outside of that, I don't agree with anything that these people are saying.
Challenges in the years ahead. But I want Baltimoreans to hear me.
This man is in office with a Democratic president. He's in office with the same woman that he's talking about. She's the current vice president. Why can't your kids read? Do you think you should be reelected? Do I think that if I go to my job and I say, hey, I need another contract, do you think that I could have gone to the NFL teams and said, hey, Colts, I may not have performed my best, or let's take me out of it. Any player, you go to a team, if you didn't perform your best, are you expecting, oh, I deserve this position? This is what happens when people don't understand competition and don't understand that this participation trophy, everything, when you're given something, it robs you of the ability to develop on your own, to learn how to compete, to embrace competing. This is why kids should be competing at a young age. This is why kids should be playing sports, because competition is everything. Competition is everything. But when you have people like this, where there's no accountability, where it's like, I should get reelected. Kids can't read, so what? I'm still the best person to do the job. How are we more upset with Trump than upset with this gentleman right here who's raising kids? This is what's so mind-boggling. He's pretty much giving kids a fast track to prison or dead. When you grow up in a city like Baltimore, I'm just assuming, looking from the outside in, when you grow up in a city like that, you can't read, you can't write, you don't take education seriously, you can't perform at a high level, your confidence is low because you can't perform at a high. What do you think that these kids are going to do? What do you think they're going to turn to? The majority of them don't have two parents in the household. What do you think they're going to do? And we're more upset at Trump. We're more upset at Trump because he's taken away the rights for me to have an abortion. You're more upset about that than this person not being able to do their job and the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids that can't read. What do we think's going to happen to them? We're more concerned with being able to abort babies And we look at that as wellness. We look at that as healthcare. We look at that as our reproductive rights, rather than the kids that are actually here living, who are going to be on a fast track to either land dead or in prison because they can't read, because they were not brought up properly. What do you think ends up happening? If you have a kid that, let's take it back to sports. If you have a kid that you're not coaching right, you're not preparing them, and then you throw them in the game, what do we think is going to happen? Do we think they're going to fail, or do we think they're going to succeed? They're going to fail. And when you fail in life, what ends up happening?
Me clearly, we have a lot to be proud of in our leadership in the state and in the city. And I know all of my colleagues in office will agree when I say that Baltimore will always be a place that welcomes and protects our residents, no matter what they look like, who they love, where they were born, or how they choose to live their lives, as long as they're doing it in a legal manner. That will not change, and I will continue fighting for Baltimoreans no matter what.
Clown. The clown. He's a clown. Let's go to this next video from Joy Reid. I'm gonna be honest. I probably shouldn't even have done this show tonight. I'm gonna be totally honest. Like I'm just not in a headspace to be able to just, I don't want to say sugarcoat things, but I'm just sick and tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this because it impacts us on so many different levels. We think it's just about politics. It's just about this. This impacts families. This impacts how we see family structure. This impacts all of these things, the things that you appreciate. I'm sorry, I'm going off on tangents. My apologies. Let me get it together. Let's take a look at this this video from Joy Reid. Let's take a look at this video from Joy Reid. All right, let me get the, hold on, bear with me. All right, it's on the screen. All right, we're good to go. Take a look at this.
Talk situation until her ass is fired. She and her little friend Ellie Mistal are truly the most racist people on television. And here's her latest messaging, as some groups indeed are reportedly planning some march. And listen to Joy Reid's reaction.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the P-word hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. I'm pretty sure black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition.
What more?
Who does she think she is? Who does she think black women are? You think that you're entitled to certain things just because you're black, just because you're a woman? You think that you should be held in these elite regards? Who do you think you are? And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was addressing white women. White women, y'all have allowed black women to get away with so much. Because they convinced y'all that you owe them something. And now they try to get away with so much. The nerve of her. So here you could have a white woman that supported Kamala Harris. Let's say a white woman supported Kamala Harris. And now they don't like Donald Trump. They may feel the same way that you feel about Donald Trump. But because you're a black woman and you feel like, oh, I already did so much, I'm done helping you. This is the arrogance. This is what has been created in a lot of our black women. And it's sad. It's sad. And I'm going to say it's actually, when I look around, it's created. I don't know whether this is good or bad, or I don't have any stats around this, but it's created in a lot of our educated. And when I say educated, I almost laugh saying that. College, the people that go to college, I think that this mindset has been created in a lot of black women, specifically these type of people. They don't realize, they think that Joy Reid is on TV. Joy Reid is going to be miserable in 20 years. They keep trying to convince you that the behavior that they're creating, the people that they're creating, It's a combination of a bunch of things. It's a combination of fathers that don't keep it real with their daughters. It's a combination of these women that want to try to convince y'all that y'all are perfect. These men that want to convince y'all that y'all are perfect. So you never make adjustments. You think that you're just perfect and men should just adjust to you because you're just God's gift. That's what you really think. And it's not realistic. It's going to have you alone and by yourself. And that is a dangerous place to be. We are not meant to live life alone. We're not meant to live life alone.
Self-flagellation could white progressive women have done to earn the little pat on the head from?
They had a group, White Women for Kamala Harris. They had white women pandering to y'all, raising money. When y'all got off the call, because y'all didn't want white women on y'all call, the first call that y'all had when President Biden, when he dropped out and Kamala was going to be the nominee, y'all had white women get on the show. Like, we just need to support and follow black women. Like, what else do they need? And now Joy Reid, this is the arrogance that they've created in these women. The arrogance. And black men who supported and voted for Kamala Harris. This is why I'm glad that she lost. Because now black men are seeing the Joy Reids of the world, seeing all this stuff happening. And they already saw it. They already felt it like, damn, like, it's almost like I just don't matter. And black women are perfect. I know my dad feels that way. I know a lot of men around his age feel that way. But they may have disregarded those feelings because of other influences. But I know that y'all see the very same thing. This is terrible, terrible. And we've allowed it.
From the Joy Reids of the world.
Let me move on. My fault. I haven't even looked at the comments. I'm going to be totally honest. I haven't even looked at the comments. I'm just going to be totally honest. If somebody was looking at the show, they would, what am I acting? I'm acting unhinged. Yeah. Tell me where I'm wrong though. Unhinged and yeah, tell me where I'm wrong. Let's go on to the next video. We're going to look at Morning Joe. So I saw this video from Morning Joe. Wanted y'all to take a look at it, get y'all thoughts on it, see how you felt about it, and we'll kind of go from there. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll watch that one later. So check this video out from Morning Joe. Let me get it queued up. Hold on. Let me get it. Because all of a sudden now people are, like I say, the same things that we talk about on this show all the time. All of a sudden, the Democrats, the pundits, the journalists, the news anchors, all of a sudden they're seeing what we're seeing. It's the same thing with Biden's health. Nancy Pelosi met with Joe Biden before that debate and said, Biden is perfectly fine. Y'all are lying. We were talking about Biden's health on this show for the last 2 years, saying it's obvious. Look at the speeches that he gives. Look at how he walks. Have you ever gone to a nursing home and seen people with dementia or seen people with a cognitive decline and how they walk? Look at Joe Biden. That's not a shot at Joe Biden. That's reality. I actually felt bad for Joe Biden because they were pushing him to do something that I did not believe that he was capable of doing from a mental or physical standpoint. Let's take a look at this.
And it was true in 17, and it was doubly true in 2024.
Mika Brzezinski, who's married to crazy Joe Scarborough, and they sit there every day and do their little program, which I'm also sure is going to get the axe soon enough, and MSNBC is up for sale. We'll have more on that in a moment. Here she is saying that Democrats are realizing that woke is broken, that it was a mistake. And I don't want to lead too much, but I would say no Sherlock.
We want to get to the Maureen Dowd piece. We're going to do something a little different this morning because we're going to read the entire piece, but it's worth it. I think a lot of people have already been talking about this. We got a lot of calls about this piece, and it's an interesting message for Democrats. Maureen Dowd's piece for the New York Times entitled Democrats and the Case of Mistaken Identity Politics. It really crystallized how some Democrats are finally waking up and realizing that woke is broke.
Yeah, screw you, lady, and screw you, Maureen Dowd, and screw you, New York Times, and screw you, MSNBC. You guys pushed all of this. This on a.
I'm glad Dave Rubin said that. These people are trying to, like, it's almost like they're pulling, I guess Kamala could have learned from what they're doing, because they are completely separating themselves from the things that they actually contributed to. Y'all are the ones that pushed all this rhetoric. You knew damn well this stuff wasn't true. You knew it was BS. You knew that from a cultural standpoint, you don't even agree with this stuff, that it's gone, and it's been gone too far. Too far. But y'all just kept pushing, kept getting more radical, kept pushing the messages of the things that these radical people were saying. Y'all kept pushing it. Why? Because we hate Trump. Trump's a fascist. Trump's a threat to democracy. Trump's Hitler. But then we're going to show a video later where Trump is sitting down with Joe Biden, and everything seems fine. It doesn't look like Joe Biden thinks he's Hitler. Doesn't look like Joe Biden thinks he's a threat to democracy. They've been fooling us. They've been fooling us. And I really, really want people to just wake up. You know that they've been manipulating us. And you cannot allow your hatred for Donald Trump to be so overwhelming that you allow all of this other craziness to happen, that you're not seeing the rest of this. You're not seeing the big picture here. You're so locked in on just, I hate Trump, I hate Trump, I hate Trump. You're not seeing all the other craziness that this group of people is pushing, that you're supporting and voting for. You're not seeing it. It's like this one group, well, abortion, that's all I'm focused on, abortion. This other group, I hate Trump. Those are the two things that's the only reason I'm still surprised that the race was as close as it was. What did the Democrats stand for? Most people that voted for Kamala Harris, if you gave a rundown of the culture, the things that are included in the culture that the Democrats are pushing, they don't agree with that. They don't agree with that. And they overplayed this Trump hatred card too much, and this is what got them.
Now that you realize that you're losing, you are going to pretend you had nothing to do with it. But we are not going to forget, because you almost destroyed this entire country, right? A week ago, we could have elected Kamala Harris, and that would have strengthened all of the horrific ideas that have been ruining the greatest human governmental experiment in the history of the world. And it's because of you. And if you want a perfect example of how they will pretend they had nothing to do with it, the very people who pushed it, slammed it on you, squirted it all over you. Joe Scarborough.
That white elitists that run the Democratic Party are far to the left of many black and Hispanic voters in the Democratic Party. And I remember a pollster for Barack Obama, I think his name was David Sachs, forgive me for, it came out and had that poll in 2017, and he got absolutely hammered on Twitter. Absolutely hammered by the far left. How dare you say this? How dare you? But he was right. And it was true in 17, and it was doubly true in 2024.
So why were you allowing this stuff to be pushed? I don't know what these people are doing, these news anchors. Maybe they're just fighting for their jobs. Apparently viewership has been down for a lot of these major news stations. I don't know. I don't know what they're caping for. I have no idea. And I was going to wait to bring this point up. The Democrats, to be victims, their brand is such victimhood. Think about this. The Democrats want to convince us that they're the underdogs, right? They want to convince us that they're the underdogs. Do we realize how many advantages Democrats have? Do we realize that? Starting with the ability to just, because all you're doing is ever pushing progressiveness and liberalness, because you don't have to have a foundation. Your foundation is, oh, what are they doing over there in the conservative? Oh, no, we need to change that. What are they doing? We need to change that. They just sell us on hope. Oh, things are going to be amazing if we do this. And idealism. That's what they sell us on. So they don't even have to have anything that they don't have to prove what they've already done. Everything is about, well, what the future should look like, what the future should be. Democrats, think about this. There's more Democrats than Republicans in this country. They spent far more money in this election, far more money. And we actually may play a video later just detailing and breaking down the amount of money that Kamala Harris spent. And if anybody has a good video from that, just either send it to me, put the link in the chat. I have one that I'm planning on playing, but if you have a better one, we'll play that as well. So there's more Democrats than Republicans in the country. They spent way more money, and the Democrats used to be the party that was complaining about the Republicans for spending too much money and buying elections. Can't say that anymore. They're giving Oprah $1 million, Eminem 1.8, Beyonce 10 million. If I was Oprah, I'd be sick. They gave Eminem 1.8 and gave you 1 million. I wouldn't be surprised if Oprah comes out and has some negative things to say about the Democratic Party. Just watch how all this stuff plays out. Trump is a felon, right? Trump is a felon. Apparently, Kamala Harris is the most qualified presidential candidate we've ever seen. They've been in office 12 out of the last 16 years. Every Democrat that hates Donald Trump, they tell me about how he's not an intelligent person. I say he's a brilliant marketer. They say, no, he's a terrible businessman, terrible marketer, terrible all these things. So all of these things Democrats seem to have advantages in. Democrats dominate the media. What is it? Fox versus CNN, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, NPR, whatever. They dominate the media and still lost. Still had a landslide with the Electoral College. Still had a landslide with the Senate. With them being there, I believe they got the House. If they got the House, that means Trump won, got the Senate and the House. That's a landslide. A landslide. And you got all these advantages, but they want to convince us that, oh, we're the victims. And what that does is it doesn't even allow them to even wake up and realize what I just said, all the advantages that they have, because they're so used to seeing themselves as victims, because that's what they have to push to everybody else to get y'all to vote for them. So that's why they'll never actually look at, oh, well, we could do this better. We could have done that better. We got all these different advantages. How did we lose? And how did we lose the way that we lost?
I wish that segment would have ended with one of his producers just throwing a pie in his face. Like the producer, the guy behind the camera.
All right, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move. Matter of fact, yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. I want to show y'all this. Matter of fact, I got a question. Speaking about Trump, especially for all the people that hate Trump. And I tweeted this earlier. If Trump winning was based on hate, because maybe I'm going to share a little story with y'all without giving too much detail. So I got a call from somebody that I hold in high regards, another person, right? All these people that I hold in high regards, I'm looking at them a little bit differently. I got to be totally honest. And they were telling me how, like, clearly, and this is somebody that's always wanted me to get into politics. Somebody that I is associated with my college that I went to. And they've always pushed me to get into politics, right? They've always celebrated me, and I shouldn't say always, because they celebrated me after the fact. Where I don't know if y'all know me or looked at my Instagram page in 2013, 2014, 2015. I was one of those people that were really pushing blackness, really pushing, jumping out the window for Black Lives Matter. That was what I was pushing. Just like I push what I'm pushing right now, I'm always going to let my opinion be known. But I'll also be open to being wrong. And being open to being wrong is what led me to pulling a 180 on how I used to view the world. That's what allowed me to. Most people aren't able to change their thoughts. Most people just stay in their bubble, just surround themselves with people that agree with them. So they think the same way that they thought 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50, whatever. They never change. So this person that I was talking to, they were telling me, we got on the subject of the election, and they said anybody that could just support him, like you're just voting for hate. You're voting for hate. And was saying some things about it. And I told them who I was talking to, it was like not the right time to have the full conversation. And I said, I was going to meet with him this weekend. And I said, I want to sit down with you and talk about this election. And just because I wanted to, I just felt that the conversation would be better face to face. I thought the conversation would be better face to face. So he goes on to talk about all the people that voted for Trump, people that are walking around, that means 1 out of 2 people that we're seeing that we're bumping into. We know how they feel. We know that, saying all these things like they support hate, like they're hateful, all this. And I'm sitting here like, damn, I voted for Trump. Didn't tell him that yet. Just letting him go off. And I'm sitting here and I can't wait to talk to him and let him know that I voted for Trump. But I was like, you know what? Let me just hold off on this. It's the middle of the workday, whatever. And I'm sitting here and I had a lot of different thoughts around it because I was like, how should I handle this? I hold this person in pretty high regards. I even reached out to my family afterwards and said, I can't wait to sit down and talk to him. It was either talking to him or writing a letter because I wanted to get everything across. And sometimes when you have conversations, you don't get everything across, but I wanted to write him a letter and then say, now let's meet, let's talk about, you just heard me out on all this stuff. Now let's meet. Now, the reason why is because we are so emotionally obsessed and we get caught up in this gang mentality where if everybody feels this way that I'm going with this way, I'm going with this, to where we're not even able to realize that, hey, if this person that I hold in such high regards, if I compliment them on their principles, and this is what I was going to say earlier that I missed. When I was pushing that message in 2013, 14, 15, when everybody, including my family, thought that I was crazy, saying certain stuff, a couple years later, when Donald Trump got elected, this person reached out to me and said, hey, you were right, those things that you were saying. We didn't realize you were ahead of the curve. Oh, so I wonder what you were thinking about in real time when I was writing those things. I wonder how you were looking at me when you were reading those things on my Instagram, when you didn't see it how I was seeing things. It took a couple years for you to get to that point where you're like, oh, now you're celebrating me, right? Okay. So fast forward to now you're so close-minded. And he's going to be embarrassed when I have the conversation with him because I'm going to tell him everything that I'm saying here. There's no way he's listening, because if he was listening, then he would know exactly what my politics were. And he made the statement, like, I don't know what your politics are, but I know your values. And I know there's no way that you could support that type of hatred. And I just sat there and I said, I look forward to talking to you about the election, when I see you. And here you have people. See, when this is my mindset. When I have a point that I'm standing hard on, and I see somebody, and this is what I hope to do. I'm not always perfect with this. And I see somebody else, especially who I respect. If they see something completely different, I do not look at it like, oh my God, look at that person. I thought so highly of them. And now, I found this out about them. Now they're just one of those terrible people over there. Instead, I hope that I would say, you know what? Wait, if that person thinks that, and I respect them, and I seen that, they have a track record of being a little bit ahead of the curve, even if they don't. But I know that they're courageous enough to speak out. I know they have a good heart. I know they have good intentions. Let me actually look into this. Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture here. That's how I hope that I would approach it. That to me is a logical way of looking at it. That is a manly way of looking at it. Because you're thinking with logic, you're moving with logic rather than just being overwhelmed with emotions. And anybody who votes for him, they're just pushing hate. They're a terrible person. This is how we get in the position that we are now. This is how, when we look back and you say, how could everybody have followed that messaging? Because people just follow, whether it's slavery, whether it's anything else. When you look back in time, like, how could everybody just let that happen? Because people are followers. People do not speak out. People don't have the courage to look at things differently than everybody else and be the person that everybody else is looking at like, no, he's wrong. We're all right. Let me just keep going. The question that I was going to ask about Trump, and I'm going to ask him this actually when I speak. If Trump winning was based on hate, if Trump's a Nazi, if Trump is a threat to democracy, if Trump's a fascist, if he's all these things, if your 401k went up, if your stocks went up, if your crypto went up, maybe you should give back those gains that you made. Maybe you should give back the money that you made off of Trump getting elected, because it's very clear the stocks went up significantly when Trump was, I'm not even gonna say when they decided, when it was looking like Trump was gonna win, that's when Tesla shot up. That's when the stocks shot up. That's when everybody the next day looking in their 401k and saying like, yo, like my 401k went up. Because all money's not good money, right? All money's not good money. You shouldn't take that blood money. You shouldn't take that hate money. You shouldn't take that Nazi money. You should give that back. Why don't you donate that money, all those gains that you made based on hatred, based on this Nazi type of person? Why don't you donate those gains that you made to a cause that's important to you? Why don't you donate it to Baltimore? Why don't you donate it to get some support and guidance and some consultants in there that can help those Baltimore kids read a book, do a math problem? Why don't you donate it to creating some solutions around educating these young kids in these cities that are democratically ran that are failing the kids? Because that's what the mayors and the leadership are doing. When kids can't read in your city, the leadership is failing those kids. But we have no problem when those kids turn 18, 19, 20, and they're doing things to get in trouble, when they're robbing your house, you have no problem sending them to jail. But you don't give them the excuse, yo, they couldn't read, they couldn't do this. Like, what do you expect them to do? But you give Kamala Harris all these excuses. You give the mayor of Baltimore all these excuses. You give people that you like all of these excuses. The things that you excuse say a lot about yourself. The things that it doesn't matter whether it's the food that you're eating. Oh yeah, you could excuse that. I could eat some fries. I could eat some ice cream. I don't need to, we could disregard this workout. The things that we allow say a lot about ourselves, and they determine how far we'll go in life, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I'm only 37. What do I know about life? I don't know much. I'm just giving y'all my opinion. I can be totally wrong, and I'm cool with that. But I'm also courageous enough to let y'all know exactly how I feel, and that's more than a lot of people can say. Let's keep going. Where are we at? Where are we at right now? So that's Dave. Okay, so we're going to play the Plies video. So let me play this Plies video. Let's go back to Instagram. Where are we at? All right, boom. Listen to this Plies video. So Plies put up this video either a day or 2 days after the election, after he was done crying and consoling women and saying that he wanted to give everybody a hug. He wished he could give all these black women hugs because Kamala Harris lost. Let's look at what.
Hey, this real quick. It's kind of to women, but I guess men can chime in on it too. I was just having this conversation yesterday, me and my dog, we were just talking about it. And I said, when it comes to women, and ladies, hit me all the way out before you dive in on this. I feel like when it comes to women, especially if we involved with each other, I don't want you to be strong. And let me finish. Or feel the need to be tough around me. I feel like if you feel the need to be tough around me and feel like you have to be strong around me, then I feel like I failed you.
Notice how we started off the conversation. Black women, hear me out. Because he knew that they were going to be opposed to the things that he was saying, or there was a good chance of it. Because what happens, and this has happened in my real life. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, where I said, I was like, yo, black men, we are the problem. We caused all this stuff that's going on in the black community. We are the reason. I took responsibility for it, right? I took responsibility for it. And you know what a black woman told me? Well, you're disregarding the agency that we have. You know, it's not just all about you guys. I'm like, damn, here I am accepting responsibility for the problems that have been created in our communities. And your response is as if I'm being sexist and misogynist and, well, you're not giving black women agency in these. Not saying it in a way where some people, some of the women that listen to this show may say it in a way where they're saying, you know, yo, it's not on y'all. It's not all on y'all. We take some responsibility in as well. It wasn't being said like that. It was, well, we have agency, you know, we can make decisions. That was the energy that was on. And I got my bro who was on the call with me, so it wasn't just me. And that's the same reaction that he got as well. But here you have Plies saying this message. He sounds conservative. These, exactly what he said. Think about, remember that Harrison Buckner, the kicker from the Chiefs? I just thought about this off the top of my head. You remember when he was pushing this message saying like, you know, women, it's okay. He wasn't specifically saying what Plies was saying, but he was saying like, hey, you know, women, you don't always have to, you don't just have value in becoming a CEO or climbing the corporate ladder. The greatest value that you have is being a mother, being a wife, these things. I know it's not the same thing that Plies is saying, but what Plies is saying, there's a whole lot of women. Like if I said what Plies said, I guarantee you Plies panders to these women. He tells them exactly what they want to hear, how they want to hear it, doesn't hold them accountable, nothing. Of course, women and more women need to speak out on this type of stuff. More women need to speak out on this type of stuff. Y'all, and I'm looking at the screen and my cousin done commented on it. It just came up on whatever. I just happened to see it on the screen, literally, but neither here nor there. I'm not going to address that. But everything that Plies is saying is obvious. And this is what I'm saying. Women, when Kenny Burns got on the show, when that Black Men's Summit, when he got on there saying, well, we all agree that black women are going to save the planet. The same energy that mayor of Baltimore had. No, black women don't want to save the planet. Stop putting that on them. Why don't you go be a man? That's like somebody breaking into your house and saying, you know, black women gonna save the family, like black women, and they actually push movies like that. There was one with Queen Latifah with Ludacris. There was another one with I think it was Gabrielle Union or Regina King. I don't even know where they got matter of fact, it was Michael Ealy in the movie with I think Gabrielle, where they got Gabrielle beating up the guy, saving the family, and Michael Ealy's just kind of weak. This is the messaging that these people are creating. They want women strong and they want men weak, to the point where Plies says something like this, and it's like, yeah, Plies, obvious. Women don't want to be fighting these battles. Women, in my opinion, are in this position because men have been lacking. The same thing that Plies is saying. The problem is, Plies, you're pushing conservative messaging. You're pushing conservative messaging. If Donald Trump just said what Plies just said, people would be... Think about it. What did Trump say? I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. Plies, what did he just say? If a woman's got to be strong around me, then I don't. Plies is pretty much saying like, nah, I'm going to be the person that's strong whether you like it or not. That's the role that I'm playing. But when Donald Trump says it, it's a totally different story. They misconstrue it. They want to play it in a different way. We have gone crazy. And there's too many soft men running around the day after the election. I'm enraged. I'm sad. I'm depressed that Donald Trump won. Find a new leader. And what's so terrible about it is the men that are saying these things, those are the men that women are trusting to lead them, are trusting to guide them because they make them feel good. Not because they give them what they need that's going to actually make them good, make them whole, make them the person that they need to be, so therefore they can find a man, so they can have a man, they can become a wife. Think about it. We don't even know, and I was going to wait until we finish this Plies video. What do we raise women to be wives anymore? I know on the last show, Mama Lay, we talked about it. We talked about what is a woman's role? What is a wife's role? Are we raising women to be wives? When it comes to men, we're not raising men to be husbands either, to be totally honest. We're not raising men to be husbands. You want to know why? Because most of these boys are growing up in single parent households that are ran by women, these matriarchs. They're ran by these matriarchs. And how can you teach a man to be a man? And then you got the women that are teaching the women, preparing the women to be independent on their own. So therefore they got education. They got the right mindset to go out there and compete while they're letting the men get away with everything. So it's like the opposite that's happening. It's the opposite effect. Hold on one second. Who knows when's the last time that a father can be so valuable to a daughter especially, and so valuable to a son? But when's the last time, even as a mother, you taught I guess this is why it's important to grow up in a two-parent household. You're robbing your kids. In my opinion, you're robbing your kids of seeing. You can't just tell a kid how to play football. Hey, you just do this. Sometimes it's better. You got to show them, or they got to get in there and actually do it. The problem is with relationships, you may not have all this practice that you can just send your kid to football practice and they practice. No, you don't have that. We are not raising our kids to even understand what it takes to be a wife, to understand what it takes to be a husband. The only reason why men get it is because it's very easy to see that in any culture, in any world, you make more money, you get more women. You make more money, life's going to be better. You can be the one to pick up the check at the end of the night, life's going to be better. That's a simple concept to understand. But on the ladies' side, what are y'all taught? Ladies, let me look at the comments. What are y'all taught? What are y'all taught? Okay, just like what Ply said, ladies, y'all, we of course, men feel that way. What man would feel good about their woman having to play a power role, having to play a protective role, having to stand up for me when there's an altercation or something, or some danger? What man would feel good about their woman doing that because their woman doesn't think that the man is capable of it? Who would feel that way? But that's sexist and misogynist, right? That's too traditional. We don't want to talk about gender roles. There's no gender roles. Everything is fluid. You can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. We overcomplicate these things. And in my opinion, the older generations are doing a terrible job, and we're not even going to realize, but wait until the next 20, 30 years when we're seeing those group of people. See, right now they're in their 40s and 50s and maybe early 60s. The aunties that are pushing y'all. You could be single. You could be the rich auntie. You could be all this other stuff. Auntie, I hope that your health doesn't deteriorate. I hope that your health doesn't deteriorate. Deteriorate? What's the right? How do you pronounce that word? I feel like it's a tongue twister. Y'all know what I'm saying. Because you're going to be alone by yourself with nobody to help. And it's a terrible place to be in. But that's what we're encouraging with our behavior, directly or indirectly. Let's keep going with Plies.
As a man, let me be strong for us. I want to be strong for us. Let me be tough for us. Because I need you to be as vulnerable as you choose to be, want to be, or need to be. And you know for a fact that I'm not going to take advantage of your vulnerability. That you know that. Like, I've proved that time and time again that I'm not willing, nor will I take advantage of your vulnerability. For me, I feel like if a woman has to be strong or feels she has to be strong with me or around me, I just feel like I failed her as a man. Because I'm the one that feel like I need to be strong for us. Cool. Like, if you want to be internally strong, but don't project that.
Oh, you mean, and just so y'all aren't sure, Plies is a Kamala Democrat diehard. He was one of these people jumping out the window supporting Kamala and Democrats and the weird culture that they're looking to establish. But now you want to push these traditional values. And of course, everybody loving them in the comment section. Why? Because it makes sense. It makes sense. The problem is everything else that you push on your page doesn't make sense.
I respect that too. But me personally, and how I view it, babe, I don't even want you to be strong. I don't need you to be strong. My job is to be strong for us. You be as.
The fact that he even has to say this just shows how much of a low point our men are at. The fact that he needs to say that. And you know what's crazy? This same messaging is considered toxic masculinity. Well, a woman can't be strong. A woman can't lead. A woman can't do that. A woman can't do all these things. You can do whatever you want. But it doesn't mean that you're best suited to do these things.
Vulnerable as you want to be, as you need.
Men shouldn't feel that they need to be strong. Men should be okay being vulnerable. Maybe all men don't want to be strong.
To be, and you know for sure, because I've proven it to you, that I'm not going to take advantage of your vulnerability. So I want to get on here and ask y'all, fellas, you can chime in too. How do you view what it is that I just said, ladies, and give me your feedback on it. Hey, this real quick. It's kind of.
All right, we're going to move on. All right, so I want to move on to what we got. Oh, my God. Let's get to this video. I want to show y'all this video. So this guy, Jamal Simmons. Hopefully I could find the video. Where is this? I thought I saved it. Hold on. I want to show this video of this guy, Jamal Simmons. Yeah, here it is. This is like, so Ursi, this one's for you because I saw earlier that you wrote that you didn't know that people were calling for Donald Trump. I'm sorry, for Joe Biden to step aside and let Kamala Harris become president. Listen to this.
We're now 71 days from Trump taking the oath of office. What is the most important thing that everybody is looking for? That is my question. I'll start with you.
Joe Biden has been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right?
It would absolve her from doing her job, from seeing the transition. The vice president sees the transition. It would allow her to save face and not have to give the presidency to Trump, who she lost to. You're trying to handle Kamala Harris with kid gloves, but then you're trying to convince me that she could be the president? It would absolve her from having to do what her job is on January 6th and pass the leadership over to Donald Trump. This man is calling for, has this man, why doesn't he, matter of fact, why doesn't he, instead of going on TV, why doesn't he let a black woman, him give up his position with CNN, being a commentator on here? Why doesn't he just give it up and let a black woman do it? Why doesn't he give up his job and just let a black, like, what are we, this is where this has gone to, the entitlement. Joe Biden, this is crazy. He's trying to put pressure on Joe Biden to stand down and give up his presidency for Kamala Harris. That's what he's trying to do. Do we realize, are we forgetting how soon we forget how Kamala Harris got her job in the first place? Let's be real. Kamala Harris only got that position, and Charlemagne made it very clear in Joe Biden, in the same interview where Joe Biden said, "You ain't black unless you vote for us." I believe it was the same interview where Charlemagne said, "Hey, we need you to bring on a black woman, not just a woman, a black woman as vice president, or we ain't supporting you." That's a DEI hire, bro. Let's just be honest. She was a DEI hire, and I don't see how you could see it any other way. If she wasn't, let's look at it like this. If she wasn't black or a woman, would she have been hired? She was hired based on her diversity. And now this man, Joe Biden gave us a gift, right? He gave all black people a gift and allowed the first woman of color to be a vice president, right? First woman, period, right? Unless I'm missing something. That's what he allowed. That's what he allowed. And now you're sitting here asking this man to give up his job so Kamala Harris can get something that she lost so she can save face. This is the type of men. These are the type of men that are telling black women they can do no wrong.
Of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
Okay, this
operate.
is now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's in Joe Biden's control. And if he did it, it would fulfill his last promise. It would give Kamala Harris the chance to be the 47th president of the United States of America. It would disrupt all of Donald Trump's paraphernalia. Right? He'd have to rebrand everything. But and it would make it easier for the next woman who runs for president to not have to worry about all the historical, weight of being the first. We can solve this problem.
I have something that's a lot more realistic. There are 7 Americans right now in dungeons in Gaza. If Hamas does not have them walking and talking on American soil before Donald Trump is president, they will have hell to pay. And I'm looking for that to happen in the next 70 days.
We haven't actually heard a lot from Donald Trump. I know he's getting his administration put together, but it would actually be nice if he goes to the White House if he is the president for all, if he is the president for Americans, talk to the people who did not vote for him and earn our trust to say, other night you said Democrats should let us work. Talk to us then, engage us. Don't just continue to feed your base and continue to throw red meat. Be the leader that both of you think he can be.
You're already showing some good faith with that beautiful red suit this morning.
Yo, shout out to my guy, Scott Jennings. That's the one that just made that joke because he is on these CNN panels in liberal territory every day. Every day he's in liberal territory. He's one of the only Republicans that's consistently on the show. And he gets jumped all the time. He gets jumped. He's been getting jumped for the last, I don't know, however many years. And I'm just so happy for him. I'm just so happy for him because it's just good to see the Democratic structure crumble because it's good when things built on bad faith, on all of these things that I think are destructive to the overall people. This is my opinion. It's good when those things break down. When you have it's bad when you get to a certain position where we're seeing a lot of Democrats where they're pointing the finger everywhere. Nobody is taking accountability. Not one person has said, I could have done stuff better. Not one person I've seen, whether it's a news anchor, news pundit, journalist, influencer, Kamala Harris, her team, none of these Democrats, strategists, none of them have said, you know what? I could have done things better. That's taking accountability. That's looking inward. And since she just recommended that we take a look at that Donald Trump go by, she said that it would be good faith if Donald Trump goes and visits, right? So let's show Donald Trump going by and hanging out with Biden a little bit. We're not going to play much of the video, but we'll play a little bit so y'all can see. Trump visited, I believe this is earlier today. Biden congratulated him. By the way, Biden got to be one of the happiest people in the world right now. One of the happiest people in the world right now. Y'all tried to play me. Y'all tried to play me and y'all thought that y'all could win without me. I just see Joe Biden at the end of training day with Denzel. Y'all think y'all could, I'll have y'all playing basketball in Pelican Bay. That's what I see Joe Biden. That's the energy that he's on. I wanted to put Joe Biden with him wearing the Trump hat. I wanted to put that on the cover of today's show for the thumbnail, but I just didn't do it. But shout out to Uncle Joe, man. They keep trying to play you. Shout out to Uncle Joe. Hold up, fast forward a little bit. What I got going on?
Well, Mr. President-elect and former President, thank you. Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And
this is what Charlemagne was talking about the other day. Would you shake Hitler's hand? Would you shake a Nazi leader's hand? Would you shake a fascist's hand? Would you shake somebody who's a threat to democracy's hand? Welcome them into the office? Would you do those things? I don't know. I'm just asking. Seems to me that they were being a little bit misleading. They got us hating each other. They got these politicians have all of us hating each other with real hate, cutting off family members, cutting off friends, being petty. They got us all hating each other who did not, just because we did not feel that the candidate that you felt was the best candidate for the job. We felt that somebody else was. That's the culture of what's going on right now. And it's on both sides. It's on both sides. These politicians got us hating each other so much, but then what do? They shake hands. Meanwhile, we're still fighting their battles on Instagram. We're still fighting their battles, beefing with our family members and everything.
looking forward to having like we said, a smooth transition. Do everything we can to make sure you're accommodated, what you need. And we're going to get a chance to talk about some of that today. So
good.
Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much. And thank you very much. And politics is tough, and it's in many cases not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much.
Donald Trump, mark my words, I can see him having one of the highest approval ratings of any president in recent history. One, because the Democrats have almost done an amazing job for him. See, what they did was they set the bar so low. They convinced y'all that he was Hitler. So now all he has to do is show up and not be Hitler and people could celebrate him. Because they tried to convince us so much that he was such a terrible person. He's a bigot, he's a fascist, he's misogynist, all these ists and isms and everything else, right? They tried to convince us of that. And now Donald Trump, he's sitting down, pushing unity, hanging out with Joe Biden. He accepted his invite. He didn't wait. He didn't turn it down. He's actually doing things. And then this is what I'm predicting. He's going to, a lot of people, like the text that I got earlier this morning, I see a lot of people are going to be waking up because when the emotions run off of your hatred for Donald Trump, I think it's going to open your eyes in certain ways where you're able to see some of the messaging that he's pushing, some of the policies that you agree with, some of the cultural issues when it comes to conservative lifestyle versus the lifestyle that a lot of these liberals are pushing. I think it's going to align with a lot of people that are able to take a step back and to process their feelings, their feelings, their emotional feelings, process those, but then move to them from more a logical perspective. That's what I see is going to happen. I may be right, may be wrong.
Transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Jim.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Yo, I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, you could keep fighting it all you want, but I'm telling y'all, I watch what happens with Donald Trump president. Give it 4 years. Give it maybe less than that. Give it maybe less than that. I'm getting ready to show y'all how insane these liberals have gone. And to the point where they're actually turning off other liberals, turning off other Democrats. I'm going to show you a video of this. Look at this video that we're getting ready to see. This is insane what happens in this video. Insane.
A lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on.
Can I play that again? Matter of fact, I actually thought I had a longer video of this. Hold on one second. I want y'all to just sit with that. I want y'all to just sit with that. Hold on one second. Let me get this person's name real quick. Let me get this person's name. Sharmichael Singleton. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I need y'all to see the whole conversation. I want y'all to see the whole conversation. I believe there's a longer video here. Is that the short? Oh, they edited it. Hold on. This is the video that I saved. CNN edited the video. They edited the video. Okay. So then we'll take a look at the video as is. What y'all just saw. What y'all just saw, this man, because a lot of y'all may not even understand what just happened. This man just got upset because he said that a lot of families don't want their boys, they don't want their girls playing sports with boys. And the guy that was on there, the white gentleman, he said, I'm just so you can know which one, black guy, white guy. The white guy on there, who's clearly a super liberal, said, you're making transphobic slurs. Transphobic slurs, because he said, you're calling trans women. So let me be very clear. So trans women are people that are born with penises, male genitalia, but identify as women. That's considered trans women. Please correct me if I'm wrong. He's trying to say that these men that are playing sports with women are women, and that calling them anything other than women is transphobic, right? Because trans women are women. This is the delusion and the just stupidity around this argument, right? So let's assume that what he's saying is true. If trans women are women, then doesn't that mean that trans men are men? So if you take, for instance, everybody's favorite trans man WNBA player, Brittany Griner, if trans men, and she wanted to be identified. Remember when she was having her kids with her wife? And he said, no, I'm the pops, right? Because she identifies with being a man. So if she's a trans man and a trans man is a man, then why doesn't she take her ass to the NBA instead of sitting in the WNBA and go play against some men? Because she's not a woman. She's a man, right? I'm just respecting her wishes. If she's a man, then go play in the men's league. This is how stupid these people are. This is what I hate to say it. I'm not trying to rub it in, but if you voted for Kamala Harris, this is one of the things that you voted for. It just is what it is. Just like y'all want to categorize every Trump voter as being, he taking away my women's rights and bodily rights, my body, my choice. Okay, cool. You're going to put me in that box. Well, if you're going to have that energy, use that same energy over here. This is what you voted for if you voted for Kamala Harris. This man is making an argument on CNN that the other gentleman is using transphobic slurs by saying that he simply does not want a person that was born as a man competing in sports with his daughter. And this man just lost it on TV. And like I said, okay, trans women are women, then trans men are men. So all these trans men that are playing in the WNBA, they should not be allowed to play. Brittany Griner should not be allowed to play in the WNBA. Go play with Kevin Durant and see how well you do. Go play with LeBron and them. Oh, okay. It's not in your best interest because you probably wouldn't be able to compete. Why? Because men and women shouldn't be competing against each other. Got you. The fact that we even have to make these arguments is insane. And this is what people are voting for. This is why I said time after time, this is a cultural issue. The Democrats are so out of touch, they don't realize that they lost this election because of the cultural issues based on the agendas and the messaging that they're pushing. Whether it's tampons in boys' bathrooms, whether it's drag queens reading books to kids in schools, whether it's boys playing sports against girls, all of these different issues, people are looking at them like, yo, they're insane. If they went from thinking how the majority of us, I believe, thought maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even, to now being okay with men playing sports against women, what's the next 5 years going to look like? What's the next 10 years going to look like? This is why they lost the election. They are completely out of touch and delusional. Let me show y'all this cool video. I want to go back to Instagram real quick. So there was this young kid, and this is going to be the last video because I got to go. We got to go. Yeah. Let's go back to Instagram real quick. So I want to show y'all this video, this young man. And I know we actually skipped over the King Randall video, but we'll maybe get to that one on Friday. I want to show y'all this video. Matter of fact, which one do I want to go with? Let's look at the.
What right is he taking away from women?
He don't like y'all. He don't like none of us. He doesn't like Mexicans. He don't even like his own race.
What right is he taking away from women? Y'all still not answering my question.
That.
I've
You're
asked that for like 5
we
minutes.
Answered it.
What was the answer?
We answered it.
Y'all brought up education once I asked that question. Because y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. Y'all just go on Twitter, look at what they say, and just run with it.
Myron, you go on Twitter. I watched the debate. I heard everything.
Y'all thought he was taking away abortions. He can't even do that.
Myron, what debate did you watch?
He's so stupid. Yes, please look at the Chromebook. So I want to see what right he's taking. Let me search it up. Let's see what right he's taking away from women.
Look at what he's saying.
Let's see what right he's taking away from women. Let's watch it.
Let's see what he's giving you when he is president.
No. You know what's so funny is that a lot of adults make the same arguments that these kids make when it comes to the things that they say about Trump. The conversations look the same. Here you got this young man saying, like, what is he taking away? What is he taking away? Is this all about abortion? Let's keep going.
What right is he taking away from women?
Let's see what he's doing for.
Because they said that last time.
The right to an abortion was over.
And y'all also said Project 25. He also said publicly he's not going to do no Project 25.
He's a liar. Do you believe him? He said, nigga,
y'all only want Kamala Harris.
Your body, my choice. That's what Nick.
Why do you need an abortion? Why do you care about abortion? You're in high school.
It doesn't matter.
You're in high school.
Women get pregnant. Women our ages get pregnant.
Is you getting pregnant? Is you getting pregnant? Did you get pregnant once?
I shouldn't have to fear that though.
Are you even you're probably a virgin. You worried about the wrong things, yo. Abortion is never one of y'all lists.
What's so funny is that this young man, not I'm going to say little, this young man, I'm so impressed with him, just how he's seeing the world, because especially at his age, there's probably the majority of kids that he's around that are just pro Kamala. It's so easy. It would be so easy at his age, especially, to just say, nah, Trump's racist. We ain't rocking with him. Trump's this, Trump's that. He's misogynist, all these different things. This young man is seeing things clearer than a lot of adults. He's seeing things clearer with less emotion and more logic than a lot of adults. He's calling them out. The same. Is this all about abortion? Is this really just about abortion? Give me something outside of abortion. Give me something outside of abortion and your hatred for Trump, and convince me that Kamala Harris should have been the president.
We got wars. People trying to have war with us, and y'all worried about abortion. Y'all worried about abortion. Y'all not even having sex. Like, look at y'all.
It don't matter if we was.
Then we have to take. Let's focus on the antebellum era during the Civil War, the origins of the Civil War.
Yeah, let's focus on that. People don't want to talk about how Trump is a good president. What's wrong with voters for Trump?
We could, well, just listen. That we could still be friends after the election. I said, no, we can't.
You stop being friends with us because they voted for Trump? Teacher, I'm just way more.
He's saying you can still be respectful and that you can still.
The teacher don't even know what's going on. This is the thing, and this goes back to the conversation that I was having earlier with the person that I said has an affiliation with the college that I used to go to. Think about these schools. I'm really worried about these schools. These schools, these universities, they are so dominated by democratic perspectives. Think about that. Think about that. Whether it's Harvard, Yale, and all these Ivy League schools. We showed the video last week of all these Ivy League schools, them reaching out to their students as if we just lost a whole bunch of college students to war or whatever else. They just passed away, or there was a tragic shooting at the school. That's how they're acting with Donald Trump beating Kamala. We know this is a traumatic thing that y'all are going through. We're all going through it. If you need to take off a day of class, then we can take off a day of class. It's no problem. You know, we're going to have a quiz, but we're not going to count it. This is what our universities are creating. This is why I laughed at when I said educated earlier. Just because you go to college doesn't make you educated. It makes you indoctrinated to the things that the college is teaching you, the things that you buy into. Does not make you any more educated than somebody that doesn't go to school, becomes a plumber, becomes a mechanic, becomes a barber, becomes whatever else. But in our mind, because we have this less than mindset, and that's something that's specifically in the Black community, because see, when things are taken from you, now you just want to associate yourself with these things so you can feel better about yourself. So we weren't allowed to go to these colleges. We were allowed to go to Black schools, right? But because we weren't allowed to go to the white schools, now we want to go to that white school because we think the education is better. I'm saying that I did that as well. If you would have asked me to go to an HBCU, I'd have been like, nah, I don't want to go to HBCU. I want to go to these other schools. I'm telling you, this is what we do, and we got to be honest about it. We got to be honest about it. The same way when we move in, we get a little money, we want to move into white neighborhoods, we want to do all these different things. That's just our mindset. Everybody acts as if Black Wall Street in Tulsa was destroyed by the bombings. No, go do your research. Black Wall Street was destroyed by the same thing that destroys every other Black business. Black people not wanting to go there and Black people choosing to go to other people's businesses because our dollar does not circulate in the community. Black Wall Street was rebuilt. Black Wall Street was rebuilt. The reason why Black Wall Street did not continue thriving was because Black people did not support those businesses. Because white water's colder.
Still have mutual terms with that person, despite others having different
What are you
sides
talking
to
about?
other.
He just said his friends, those that he hang with, and correct me if I'm wrong. You said they asked you if you still gonna be cool after this. Right or wrong. So what are you talking about, ma'am?
No, Dad, again, let's not single anybody out, Myron.
No, because he said that's not what you said. I'm like, what are you talking about?
She said anything.
Everybody entitled to their own opinion now.
Right. So
Right.
why would you cut somebody off because they voted for Trump?
He didn't say what he.
Why would you cut somebody off because they voted for Trump? This young man. See, this is what happens. This is why I used to say, like when we used to do the program with the little kids, we used to have our Kings and Queens program. It was easier to talk to little kids because they're not as brainwashed and indoctrinated. They're not, see, when we get older, we start to we want to blend in with society. We want to choose comfort. That's why they get a lot of these young people to to power these movements. It's always been the case. Whether it was the civil rights movement, when we look back and say like, dang, Martin Luther King was young. Stokely Carmichael, they were young. These people were young. Malcolm X, they were young. Like Malcolm was one of the older ones. They were young. Because when we get older, we just start to compromise our principles, values, morals, and integrity to just go along with whatever's going to get us a little bit more pay, whatever's going to get us treated a little bit more favorably. That's what we choose to go with. This young man is more mature than a lot of the adults that I'm seeing on Instagram and social media and on TV. Why would you cut somebody off just because they voted for Donald Trump? Something so simple that should be the most simplest thing. Now, y'all tell me if that's the case in y'all day-to-day lives.
If we can't dominate the discussion, if you want to have some input to the dialogue, then you have to do so in a respectful manner and to be tolerant of each other's views. Now, just because I think I expected.
Yo, and this is the thing. This is why it's so sad. This is why I get so mad at that Baltimore City mayor. The nerve of him to even be worried about what's going on with the president. The kids can't read in your city. These kids are so precious. It's like, this is the thing. Like we care. Think about the things that we care about. We care more about the right to abort babies than how our middle school, elementary school, and high school kids are being raised. Because if we just based it on that, if they actually think about, has that even ever come up? Does it even come up that in these Democratic ran cities, the kids can't read? the Board of Education is failing the kids? No, but we care about abortion. We care about abortion. These young kids are so impressionable. So impressionable. And when you go back and look at why John D. Rockefeller created him and his team created the Board of Education, what their goal was to create obedient workers, not thinkers. Just go back and look at do your research and look at the history of what the Board of Education was designed to do. Go look at John D. Rockefeller. Go look at the Rockefellers, their influence on the Board of Education and the public school system. It was designed to create sheep, employees, people that can work for the people that can work for their families, people that can work for the elites. That's what it was designed to do. And these are the very same things that we're supporting, promoting, and pushing right now. Y'all got mad at Project 2025. How do you get more mad at Project 2025 that their goal, that they said they want to destroy the Board of Education? How you get more mad at them than upset at the damn mayors in these cities that are getting reelected and the kids can't read? They're failing our youth and setting them up for death, setting them up for prison, and setting them up for a whole bunch of other destruction. To have broken families and broken households. But we get more upset about, well, Project 2025, they said they want to destroy the Board of Education. It's failing. It's failing. And just a little secret, if Project 2025 was so racist as y'all making it seem, even though Trump has said that he doesn't align himself with, but if Project 2025 was so racist, let me ask y'all this. When you go to white school systems, the kids can read. It's at a greater level than what the black kids are doing in these schools. So why would Project 2025, if something's failing black people and is doing better for white people, then wouldn't they want to continue that? Something to think about, right? But all we do is pick up talking points and we're lazy. We don't do our own research. We don't do our own due diligence. But because we would rather just become so emotionally attached to these arguments that our favorite news station is saying.
That our country citizens were more decent.
Because they voted for Trump, they're not?
Yes.
What?
Did you hear what just was said? The teacher, I believe that's the teacher that just said that. If they voted for Trump, they're not. He said yes, talking about being decent. That's what the teacher is pushing to these kids. That's what the teacher is pushing to these kids. What happened to... Man. I feel bad. I feel bad for these young kids. I'm happy for this young man, but I really feel bad for these young kids. I feel bad for these young kids because education is dominated by Democratic supporters. People that vote Democrat, and they do not even realize that the things that they're voting for are actually destroying the communities that they live in. But because you get the Sonny Hostins and you get all these Barack Obamas, these people that you think relate to you because they may have a similar skin complexion or whatever else, and they may say things that make you feel good about your shitty life. Rather than holding you accountable to improve your shitty life, they make you feel good about things. So therefore, you lean in their direction. That's what ends up happening. We are being led by people that do not care about outcomes. They just care about appealing to us and making us feel good, and that just being that. This man just said that if you voted for Trump, you're not decent. These are who's raising our kids. This is insane.
Our citizens not decent because they voted for Trump.
You have your views, and I have mine. I'm entitled to mine.
But that's why you cut them off,
So
because you don't
if I have
violate.
friends that tell me that, MAGA, I can't be friends with them.
Because he voted for Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah. I am so happy that Donald Trump won. And I'm not happy for the reasons that y'all may think. I don't care about, comeback story. That's cool and all. It's nothing to do with that. It's waking people up. It's shocking people. People need to be shocked into intelligence, shocked into getting out of this emotional black hole that we've fallen into. Friends, I won't be friends with a mayor because they're not properly raising our kids. That's something to not be friends with somebody about. That's something to cut somebody off with. Matter of fact, you can't be mayor anymore. We're cutting you off. That's what you cut somebody off of, based on their performance and how it's impacting the youth. The youth deserve better. How can a kid who doesn't choose where he's brought up at, the community that he's living in, how can we not hold the people accountable that have all the power to actually do their jobs? But instead, we just care about abortions.
You don't get it.
Some people can't have their own opinion. Trump is a good president. Some of y'all are blindsided by what y'all hear on the internet.
All right, that's that. Homeschool your children. I agree, Dr. Charlene. I agree. I'm gonna be honest. Normally I would keep going, but told y'all my energy's a little off, man. My energy's a little off today. So my apologies if I wasn't clear on things today or anything else. I just get real frustrated with things because people, it really bothers me when people's decisions get clouded and manipulated based on people using emotions to sell them a particular way of life or a particular perspective on things. We only get one life. We only get one life. And I will never support a group. I will never support a group that intentionally or not intentionally leads to the destruction of families, that pushes the type of agendas that the Democrats push, that push this participation trophy. Sorry, this damn car in the background. That push this participation trophy mindset, this culture that encourages victims, that tells a group of people that just by being a group of people that they're perfect, Black women. I will never support things like this. I will never support something just because another person has the same skin color. I'm not doing that. Don't we realize that that's the same thing that we complain about? That's what we're deciding to implement as the solution? When are we going to wake up and realize that? Or are we just going to play tit for tat all the time? Are we just going to go back and forth and play tit for tat? Are we going to be these Bloods and Crips or GDs and BDs or Vice Lord, whatever? Are we going to be these gangs that we criticize for? It's like, damn, they just going back and forth killing each other. It's never going to stop. Are we going to do the same thing? Are we going to continue to support these leaders that can't raise our kids, that are destroying our children, that are destroying our children's chances of thriving in life? All because of your emotional hatred for somebody that you shouldn't even, the only reason you hate them is because of your emotions and not because of logic? Is that what we're really going to do? Because somebody, they're not as nice as Barack Obama was. I do not care about that. I care about the results. I care about how it impacts our communities, how it impacts our kids, our most vulnerable, right? That's what I hear a lot of Democrats talking about, our most vulnerable. Well, who's more vulnerable than these young kids that are growing up in these schools that they're not teaching them to read, they're not teaching them to write, they're not teaching them to do math, they don't know their history, they don't know anything, and then they're going to get thrown out in the world and be treated like adults in a couple years. It's on us. This is why I'm always going to voice my opinion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me know I'm wrong. I don't care about being wrong. I want to know if I'm wrong. I'm not scared to voice my opinion because 5 years down the line, I may say that, I would do it a different way. We need to have these honest conversations that are solution-based And the people that don't like the things that they're seeing, you need to make your voice be heard. And maybe now it's already been done for us. Maybe it's to the point where it's gotten so bad that the cycle just kind of healed itself in a lot of ways. And as far as voting for this craziness that we've been supporting over the last few years, it doesn't make any sense. People care more about abortions, care more about migrants coming in than they do their own kids in the community. Who do you think these migrants are? So the kids can't read in Baltimore. So let's do this. The black kids can't read in Baltimore. So let's bring some migrants in there. Let's throw a whole bunch of migrants in there. It doesn't make sense to the migrants. I'm not upset at the migrants. I'm upset at the people, the Democrats that are incentivizing all these things and that are promoting this. You can't even take care of the kids that are in your community now. Now you're going to bring more kids in? How does this make sense to any logical being? Yo, y'all know what we do at the end of every show. 45 seconds. I probably need it more than all y'all. 45 seconds just to clear your mind, breathe, pray for who you need to pray for, visualize what you need to visualize, manifest what you need to manifest. Give yourself whatever you need to get off this show with the right mindset. 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes, do your breath work, whatever it is. Breathe in some positive energy, exhale all the negative stuff. 45 seconds. Let's go. Two more breaths. Inhaling all the good energy, exhaling all the BS. And yeah, Mama Lay, it does take time, but people are waking up. And I am grateful for that. I just really get very sad and frustrated. Well, just frustrated. Now, I get sad for the kids. I do get sad for the kids because they're suffering. They shouldn't have to just wait for us all to wake up. A lot of these things should be obvious. The longer it takes for us to wake up, the longer these kids are just going to be suffering and put in positions that they're not able to develop anything to be successful. We're not giving them a chance in life. What could be any worse than not giving kids a chance in life? Y'all know what we do on the show. Elevate on purpose. Let's elevate our standards, man. We need our standards elevated to lead and to lead. And part of being a leader is us being successful in our own lives. All right. Nobody, I think there's a saying, or Meek Mill says it in the rap. Nobody listens to the broke Negro. You feel me? Nobody listens to the broke guy. If we want to get people to follow us, we got to win the cool battle. We got to win the whatever battle. We need to do whatever it takes to get these young kids on board and following the right messaging, because all that cool stuff, all that comfortable stuff that they're pushing on the other side, the kids are going to lean into. So we got to just compete, not complain, and just lean into it. Be passionate about the things that we stand on. Be passionate about our morals, principles, and values. That's what that's the only option that I see. If somebody else sees another option, then y'all let me know. But onward and upward, strength and honor. Do me a favor, like before you leave. That's going to help boost the algorithm so as many people as possible can see this show and in the future, hopefully engage in these conversations. For all the newcomers, I hope that you subscribe. We appreciate you being here. Normally, I'm a little bit more engaging with the chat. So my apologies about that. Yeah, it just is what it is. You know, sometimes you just have those days where, you know, you're just a little bit, you know, a little bit more aggressive than others. A little bit pissed off a little bit, but the message always has to be to just be logical, be stoic. So after I get off this show, I'm probably going to do my meditation. Maybe some of y'all need to do it as well. I know I need to do it. But that's what I'm going to do. Appreciate all y'all. Love y'all. Y'all know what it is. Get to the bag. Y'all know what we say at the end of every show. Get to the bag. The things that we put in our bag, that's going to help us align with our purpose as we strive for purposeful abundance. So what's in your bag is in your bag. What's in my bag? Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything that we do. Integrity. Uncle, brother, gang, you already know what it is. Quee sent the fire emojis, so y'all know what that means. We're out of here. J. Carr, salute. Appreciate you coming back. Appreciate that. Mama Lay, appreciate everybody. Yeah. I'll see y'all soon. All right.